podcast app. You'll see there's a discourse happening. Is this book a masterpiece or problematic? One's a lifelong diehard fan, the other's a first-time reader. Both are really smart and funny and attractive. Sweet feather, sweet feather, talking trends and hierarchy. Sweet feather, sweet feather, relentless focus on their bodies. Sweet feather, sweet feather, what do they mean by all American? Sweet feather, sweet feather, no sex, just titillation.
I'd like to put a little bump in the format today, if you'll allow me, if you'll indulge me.
I may not. I retain the right to refuse.
And I respect that.
Thank you.
Today's book, Sweet Valley High, number 84, is of course called The Stolen Diary, and I would like to begin the show with my diary entry from last night.
Wait, do you want me to grab my diary entry from last night too?
Oh, if you feel moved to, sure.
Let's just see what it was.
Sure.
I want to be clear, this is not a plant. I did not know this was happening. So if anyone gets referenced and feels any certain way about it.
Okay. And I think actually the best thing is going to be for you to start. You go first.
Wait, oh, is yours not a real journal entry? Or are you making fun of it?
Oh, it's real. It's real.
Mine's very short.
Okay.
Grateful for Boo Club and Melly and people to FaceTime with who love and accept me. I don't have to pretend. Isn't that beautiful? Not a plant, just happened. Natural, that's my actual.
Oh, I'm not, I have no doubt. You don't need to, no. Thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful. What's Boo Club? What's
So
Boo
it
Club?
used to be book club, but we don't read books anymore, so it's just called Boo Club now.
That's so funny.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, and anyone who may have been left out, you know who you are, I'm sure.
People to FaceTime with who love and accept me? You feel like you were left out of that. Okay, that's interesting.
I don't know, it feels like sort of a generic, way to like
like a fortune cookie kind of situation.
Like to give yourself Plazi-D for this specific scenario that you are fucking psychic about.
I do need you to know that over the course of my life, I've tried to keep journals periodically, and I can never keep it up for too long, especially when I was younger, because I was always this is real. I was always so nervous that I was always very conscious of the fact that at one point I would become so famous that my journals and diaries would be published. And so I was very conscious about what I was writing because I was always writing for kind of an imagined audience.
I would argue every person who journals is doing that in a way, whether they're having the sort of delusions of celebrity that was sort of specific to your pathology. I don't think so, but I do think everyone writes a journal sort of imagining, like, if someone were to find it, how would it read to them? Like, I do think there's always a filter. Do you know what I mean? I don't think there's any real pure expression. That's a philosophical question, I guess. Anyway. It's always already mediated through vis-a-vis, et cetera. Thank you so much for sharing your diary entry.
Of course.
And here's mine. Dear diary, I am so sad. My selfish listeners of the podcast that I freaking, and do they even know what I put into it? These greedy little podcast mongers. These greedy little piggies, probably is what Donald Trump would call them if they were a reporter with tits. Anyway, I don't know if they're reporters and I don't know if they have tits and I don't know what Donald Trump likes to call them. But I know that they have been naughty, with the exception of about 35 or 36 of them who have taken the time to, and that's Spotify and Apple Podcasts combined, issue a rating and or a review. And shout out to those people. Those people, we see you, and we may not know your names, and not all of your comments have been positive, but we see you and we appreciate you. Anyways, diary, I'm so sad, and I just sort of wish that they would do this really easy thing of like literally opening their phone and reading and putting a review. Guys, like it's actually so easy. It's actually so rude not to. It's like, especially if you're being one of these regular listeners, and I know there's a lot of you because Robert sometimes shows me the analytics. The people who listen, they listen. Okay, I'm talking to you. Please do it right now unless you're driving. Then do it later. Please do a rate and review. And I'm switching up the format, diary, because usually we put that at the end of the podcast. Okay. And I know that it goes in 1 year and they don't care. So I'm going to be like Wikipedia. You know how they guilt you? You feel so bad when you go on Wikipedia and don't donate. So you do end up donating. That's me right now. Like, you're a really, really naughty boy, girl, or person if you haven't rated and reviewed and subscribed to this podcast. Thank you. Love, Rebecca.
I'm glad we both shared our authentic and vulnerable journal entries here in this public forum. It doesn't certainly make me feel minimized or weird at all.
I could tell you what my journal entries sound like. They're different from yours. They're way longer. It's
Do
like,
you keep a journal?
oh yeah, it's like very helpful for me. Much like Elizabeth, I get a lot out of writing out of it. Like makes me feel better, and
Every
I use
day?
it. It's like a big tool for me. No, not every day, but like especially lately, I try to make it a regular thing, like once a week. But I'm
Or
I'm
more?
being more regular about it because it really helps me. And what's your journal practice?
I try to do it. I try to do short gratitude every night.
Oh, nice. Mine's not necessarily framed. It's like a open-ended journal, so I can say whatever I want in it, even if it's not gratitude. And it usually sounds like this, like Saturday, November, or whatever. Well, things are okay. I feel like I have like X, Y, and Z under control, and like I got this, and this done. And also, I'm reminding myself that everything's fine. And when I feel like I'm stuck, I'm actually not stuck, and like I'm gonna be fine. And my worth isn't contingent on my whatever, and I'm not like need to be punished for resting. And like even when I am resting, I'm trying to like productivize it by being like, well, did I write in my journal? Did I process my thoughts? Was I effectively resting or like not
Hmm.
tasking or whatever? It's like everything becomes a task and it's like I can only be always doing a task. Anyway,
Hmm.
so I feel like I'm getting better at that and I'm like so happy about that. And today I had a moment of peace and everything's gonna be fine. The end.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know if what we were looking for was kind of a live, improvised, not real generic journal entry.
No, wait, are you serious? That's literally what my now I have to go get my actual journal so I can
Oh,
like
no, we don't have time. We just don't have
no,
time.
but it's like fine,
We don't
whatever.
have time.
I'm mad at you because that actually was me being vulnerable.
Okay. Thank
That
you.
literally is exactly what my journal sounds like. Wow. I was so nice about your journal, which was actually kind of corny as shit.
You really were really nice about my corny ass journal. Thank you.
Are you there, God?
Well, at least my journal wasn't a bit, like, I mean, at least my journal was authentic.
But then the second one I gave you was authentic. That's what I'm
It was
saying.
authentic. It lacks something when it's not.
And then you didn't let me get it. So it's like I'm being spanked on the butt either way. Okay.
That's correct. No matter where you turn, your butt will be spanked. And that's the book. See you next week.
You're fine.
Not as funny as you making fun of my journal. That's going to be a highlight of my life, I think.
And when you share it, and that's a way to know, that's a way that you should know if you feel safe with someone, is that when you share your most vulnerable self, do they
Yep.
weaponize it? Do they weaponize it? The answer should
And
be
that's
yes.
beautiful. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, thank you for weaponizing that.
You also weaponize mine, just so you know. Anyway,
Did I?
no have time for this. Do you have something to say about the book? Give us a quick
No, thank
review.
you. Yeah, I do. Do you?
I have an area. Go ahead.
Being 16, pretty, and unattached had its advantages. I love this book. I love being 16. I love being pretty. I would like to be a little less attached than we are in this book. But I love this book. And I have real reasons. I'm not just saying this in kind of an abstract way. I have like textual stuff
Okay,
about
but
this book.
I'm so happy for you to love this book, whether you have quote unquote textual reasons or not. Like, do you know what I mean?
I don't know what I was saying.
These are all equally valid reactions, and I'm interested and appreciative of them, and I'm so happy that you love this book. So great. I can't wait to hear the textual reasons why and anything else you want to share.
Yeah, that
Do
was
you
weird.
have
I'm sorry.
is there anything else you want to elaborate on at this point, or just
I
what
think
you loved about it, or
why I love this book, my quote unquote textual reasons for loving this book is just explicitly pro Jessica in a way that I think we've been missing for a long time. And I really love, there are so many moments in this book where my other 6-word review, which obviously is not a 6-word review because you can only have one. There's a moment where they just like Enid and Liz are trying to solve a problem. They're like, what would Jessica Wakefield do? And there's just all of this like, what would Jess do? Jess would know, Jess would be, Jess would have. And I just love that she's like finally getting what she deserves from the people around her.
do you think that's what WWJD really stands for? And do you think that's what that is like actually
Yes.
about?
But what do you mean? Yes.
Yeah,
What would
right.
Jessica do?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like I see that a lot. And
Yeah,
I was like, I assume it's okay. Good. Just
fans of
checking.
the pod. It's like live strong. It's like those braces. Those are about being strong in your love for Olivia. Live strong.
No,
So are you team?
no, they're about being living for your love for Dude Armstrong, the guy with the strong arms. What was his first name?
I loved that guy.
What was his name?
Eric? It wasn't Eric.
I don't know. There were a lot of moments in this book of like Liz just realizing, yeah, it is pretty great being young and blonde and beautiful. It is actually kind of not. It's like a lot of we don't get a lot of Liz kind of admitting to like an awareness of her great beauty, etc. And having her kind of delight in that and just talk about it and like, yeah, them two say kind of over and over again, like, we're young and blonde and beautiful and everything's great. It's like
It's what I need right now. Honestly, like in this particular moment of world history, I just need incredibly thin, beautiful blonde women, young women, reveling in their beautiful blonde youngness.
yeah. Um, and something I also loved about the book was just like some really nice connection and care moments between specifically just towards Liz, I think, but them two connecting and appreciating each other and how protective Jess was of Liz. There was just some really sweet moments and it was nice to see. Okay,
Love it.
6-word review.
Come on and hit me with those 6 words.
All right. This is not about a stolen diary.
What is it?
I
Sorry,
have
that's the 6 words?
Yeah. This is one of those books that gives me anxiety on the spot when I know that I'm going to engage with it because I know how confused I am by it because it's like, and the cover contributes to that. But for me, it's like, remember back in the day, there was like a subplot that had to do with a stolen diary. And I'm like,
Yes.
Robert, just so you know, there's like a million books about a stolen diary, but it's like, the more they call themselves being about a stolen diary, the less that's what they are. And it's like very confusing. And in this book, like it's called The Stolen Diary. Also, if you see the taglines or if you read the back of it, you're sort of set up, and maybe this is what contributes to my confusion about it because I'm with the hard copy, but like you're set up to expect that the stolen diary and all this consequences that it has for Liz or whatever is like going to happen earlier or like be more of the plot. Like it's just like
Yeah.
there's like 2 or 3 fake outs of a stolen diary before the diary actually gets stolen. And so I'm kind of like, that's very confusing about it and the pacing of all that and like whatever. But then I thought, wait a minute, maybe this is actually saying something smart. Because then also, like, you think it's Elizabeth's diary is going to get stolen. It's going to reveal her personal secrets that are somehow damaging. But it doesn't do that. It ends up revealing stuff about like Todd and Enid that ends up like kind of having no consequences once it gets sorted out or whatever. So it's like
In the next chapter.
So the consequences that you're like have a rumble in your tummy about the whole time you're reading a book, waiting for her diary to get stolen is that like, oh God, what's going to come out? So it's so wild that it like doesn't. So I'm thinking what this book maybe really is about the like anxiety of the stolen diary or something because like the diary is and I said this once as a joke and now I'm saying it serious, like Elizabeth's actual one and true love. Her diary
Mm.
is the only one she is honest with. And so I think there's a begged and unanswered question of like, what are her actual secrets? Because something that also happens in this book is like she and Todd temporarily split up and then reconcile, and they don't resolve anything that ever happened between them. They never have an honest conversation once in their life. But so I'm just like, because I was going to make my 6 word review, what is this book about? Because it sure as hell isn't about a stolen diary. And like, why was this book written? What does it move forward? What does it do? Like, this thing happens and then it's okay or whatever. Is it about like, so I'm like, oh, it's about Elizabeth's relationship to her diary and like the idea of it getting stolen, but it doesn't actually get stolen. I don't understand why still or what's interesting about that, but like it's certainly not about a stolen diary, so it's gotta be about something
Mm.
or not.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a couple of things that are interesting in there. I think the idea of like the shifting boundaries between the private and the public, and like a diary is this ultimately private thing that then becomes briefly semi-public is something. I totally agree that like the diary is her true love and the only thing she's honest with. And it seems like she mostly writes about other people and like writes about her day and like and there's no actual plumbing of the depths of who she is. It's real, which I mean she's 16 also, but it really is like more of a factual from her perspective account of what's going on.
Unless unless we somehow see it as that like that stuff is there, but they're saving it for Elizabeth's secret diary.
Yeah, I wonder about that.
Because yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, there is a side book that's like series, not series, but there's like, I think at least 2, potentially 3, maybe 3 for Liz and Jess each of like their secret diary where it's like all this shit. And you actually read their diary, I think. So I wonder if, but then it's like, why write this book?
Yeah.
But again, it's like, why does this book exist? It doesn't change anything in any of their relationships except it magically dissolves this Liz and Todd tension supposedly, even though they didn't resolve anything that's been building in a few books. It didn't develop anything for Jess or Liz. Like maybe it's about this stalker guy, but like not really.
He's
It's
gone. Yeah.
like why does this book exist?
I mean, I think it does. Part of why I like it is because we see so much of Liz getting in other books. We've seen Liz getting held up as like, this is who you should be like. This is like the right way to be. And I think
Hmm.
it's nice to have a book that isn't that and that Jess is the right way to be and highlights and celebrates her and all of her skills. And like sometimes we just need a break that is focused on someone other than Elizabeth.
Yeah, I agree. I enjoyed that part of it. But it's not like at the end, Liz suddenly had this insight that she's going to move forward and anything's going to be different in her life. That was a temporary fun, and now she's going back to Todd, and literally nothing's changed. So I didn't feel like, I guess I didn't feel as, I enjoyed watching the stuff with Jess, but I didn't feel like the book was so much validating her perspective or bringing that into Liz more in any, I don't know.
Hmm.
But I love the color combination on the cover. It's one of my favorite color combinations you could ever have.
I look forward to that. I do think your point about like the diary, like the pacing of it's really weird. The diary gets stolen in chapter 10, I think, and then gets returned in chapter 11, and then we
And the
solve it
fake
in chapter
outs.
12. And there are
It's
several fake outs throughout where she's like, I can't find my diary.
it's I find this book so stressful because I think that's what it is. Like I remembered from reading it before that like I literally went into this being like, Rebecca, it's fine. At some point a diary's gonna get stolen, just like read the book. You don't need to think too much about like when that's happening or does it get taken and then returned. And like I sort of vaguely remembered she drops things, but and I'm like, well, that should be straightforward. Just read the book. Like everything's fine. So I'm just reading the book, trying to be a normal person, and it's like
Mm,
you get to the first time she literally like loses it. She
yeah,
like loses it for a full time. That's not the time. No consequence of that. It's just
right.
it's like she's putting it out there into the world like I want to lose this diary or something. Then the second time she like drops shit with this guy. And I'm like, that's the time the diary's getting stolen. Nope. Then it's like Why are we doing this? And between them, the title, the cover, the taglines, it's crazy. Also, it pisses me off because I already have anxiety. This has a lot of baggage for me, the stolen diary stuff with these books, because the last time it happened, it also was something where like they build up all this anxiety about she's lost this diary and there was literally no consequences. Like no one read it. Like Jess passed it to like someone passed it to Jess, passed it to
Yeah.
Liz, and then she had it back and it was like, why did we do this?
Hmm. Yeah, I wonder. I'm just going to take a deep breath and center myself, and no pressure for anyone else on the call to do that. I wonder if there's a world in which we don't need it to be for anything. Maybe just the simple pleasures of being 16, beautiful and unattached. Maybe we just revel in the sensory joys that this book brings to us, and maybe it
That
doesn't need to
that
be
would be
for more than
fine.
that.
That would be
Okay.
fine, except I think I couldn't experience the joy because I find it stressful. Forget about it being for something. It doesn't need to be for anything. For me, it's not pleasurable because like all that stuff gets so much canceled out by this confusion about the diary. But I'm accepting that I'm moving on. I've already I've said my piece. Okay. Do you want to get the taglines?
No, I
Or
want
are
to
we
keep
supposed to
talking about
summarize
what
the
I wanted
plot?
to. I still want to talk about what I wanted to talk about, which I still haven't gotten the chance to.
Which is what?
Which is that I think I just think it's interesting because like the idea of a stolen diary feels like a central part of pop culture. Like I think about like the burn book in Mean Girls and how it's like leaked to the public in a weaponized way. I think about the end of Cruel Intentions where
The
like they
classic
make copy.
trope.
Yeah, I love that. And
Harriet
I
the
think,
Spy.
oh, may her memory be for a blessing.
What?
Michelle
Oh,
Trachtenberg.
I'm talking about the book, of course.
Well, the book's dead too.
But that's like a big one of those.
So I like that as a trope. And I think this one is done in an interesting, it's not talented Mr. Ripley, but like, oh God, I'm not gonna interpret your face. I'm not gonna bait, I'm not gonna rise to your bait. You're trying to lure me into this fight, and I'm not gonna rise to it.
No, and I'm not going to lower myself to you.
Thank you. So I will stay here in the trough. You won high ground. Um, we'll get into it in the plot summary. Maybe we'll get into the plot summary. I think it is an interesting, unique deployment of the stolen diary trope in a way that is interesting.
That's wild. I experience it as so hostile. Wow.
You
Okay.
experience lots of things I say is very hostile.
No, I experienced the book as hostile.
I was kidding.
You know what I mean?
Trying to make a joke.
Okay, so now we summarize it.
Now we some.
You're
You
gonna need to do
start.
this. Oh, hell no. No,
I
because I'm gonna
always
go cra
am the
I'm gonna
one.
Oh, I just felt like I thought you'd be happy about that because like I don't know how to say things succinctly. I'm gonna go on for 10 hours. Okay, fine, I'll do it. I can do this. I can do this. Sometimes I can
You want me
actually
to
do
set a
this. Okay.
timer?
No. Liz and Todd decide to like take a break. They've been basically getting on each other's nerves. Liz didn't love his reaction when in the last book her brother was trying to be getting married. Plus, he's been seen kind of maybe flirting with this girl Peggy and seems like he's interested in this new pretty girl, whatever. Right? That's the basic buildup. Okay, so they decide to take a break. The
Well,
book starts
he
like that.
decides. It's
He
not
decides.
mutual. She pretends it's mutual, but it's not mutual. He decides.
Hmm.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, you're right. And then Enid is also being like, Liz, I'm missing Hugh. And Hugh was her old boyfriend that like they broke up in one book and we were like, okay, no one cared either way, but fine. So now she's being like, I'm missing him. And Liz, being sad about this Todd thing and trying to act like she's okay with it, decides to project all her feelings onto Enid and like push Enid to pursue getting back together with Hugh, essentially. And like that's her project now. So like them two spend a lot of time driving around Big Mesa, accidentally bumping into Hugh, and then that's going on. Uh, Meanwhile, she fake loses her diary 100 times, and then there's this guy who's been like staring at her at the Dairy Burger, and it's like kind of creepy, but like, why is he staring at her? And like, she doesn't think they've ever met or whatever. And his name's Chris with a K. Um,
Yeah.
and it turns out he's like been crushing on her from afar for a while. And she isn't really interested, but the more she sees Todd flirting with this girl, Peggy, who laughs like, say it with me, a donkey.
Yeah. And then it goes on. We get more
Yeah,
unkind
that
descriptions
it
of her
ends up being a
laughter.
vacuum cleaner. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That basically pushes Liz to continue this thing or lean into this thing with Chris, even though she kind of isn't really interested. She kind of uses him a little bit to do that. So that happens for a while, and then she loses her diary again, and then suddenly everyone thinks she. Oh, and then she's like gonna break up with Chris at this party, and then at the party she's like, "I want to be alone," and he's like, "You must mean to kiss," and then she's like, "No," and he kisses her, and she's like, "I'm not gonna kiss him," but then she just saw Todd and Peggy, so she does kiss him or whatever. I don't know what happens, but she's like, "Actually, no, like, I actually wanted to tell you that I don't want to date anymore." And he starts screaming and shouting at her and being a fucking psycho. And she's like, okay. And then the next day, everyone's being like, Liz and Chris basically fucked at Miller's Point, and they're being boyfriend and girlfriend. And she's like, he wouldn't have said that. I clearly told him we're done, and I certainly didn't go to Miller's Point. And Jess is being defensive, running around school, being like, Liz didn't fuck. Liz didn't fuck. Everyone relax. Liz didn't fuck. And they're like, we think she did. Cause like Chris is saying it. And then Liz is like, hmm. And then and then Chris is like being such a creep and like winking. Oh, and then Chris gives Liz a white rose and is like, sorry, I was psycho. She's like, it's okay. And then he's like winking at her being weird. And then he goes and tells Enid and Todd a bunch of shit he knows about them from Liz's diary. And no one can like they get mad at Liz and Jess is like, come on guys, Liz would never do that. You know she would never share your secrets. Like there's gotta be an explanation. And then at dinner, Mr. Wakefield's like, Jess, Sherlock Holmes said that once you've eliminated the impossible, you must consider that the possibilities that are possible, even though they may not be probable, must be the ones. And she's going to bed, like repeating this in her
God.
head, like, the possible but not probable must be the ones. The possible but not probable must be the ones. And then she's like, aha, Chris must have read her diary or whatever. And then she confronts him. He's like, yeah, I did. And then he apologizes and everyone makes up and Liz and Todd get back together and Enid and Hugh are back together and we're like, okay, that was weird. Why are we pretending this guy Chris isn't psycho now? But
Okay.
what?
It's an interesting
What did I
melange.
miss?
It's not that you missed things necessarily. Um, it was just, this would be like such an interesting therapeutic technique, like to have
It's a
people,
Rork-Shrack.
it is a Rork-Shrack. Like this is such an interesting Rork-Shrack. Just like what was more salient to you, what you spend more time on or less time on, what feels really important or less important.
But Robert, that's therein lies the exercise of doing a plot summary. Like I could say that
Yeah.
every time you do it too. Like, so what did I leave out?
I wish for once you would listen to what I'm saying and then comment on it, but that never happens. But yes, of course you could, if you were listening to my plot summaries when I give them, you could kind of reflect on them, but that's never been part of our unique give and take in our relationship.
And I'd love to hear what were the salient points for you in the plot that I may have emphasized less.
Well, so what was interesting to me was originally when you talked about the split and you said it was mutual, and then
Oh my
talking
God, I
about,
literally just said they split. You're like, they didn't split, he split with her. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I never said the words mutual. Don't make me be Liz. Okay.
don't
But,
make
and
me
I
be
said right
Liz.
away, I said, you're right.
No, no,
She
I'm
was
just,
the one who said
I
it was.
think it's the way that you talk and think about their relationship. And like, then when you're talking about Liz and Chris, and you're like, oh, she doesn't really like him. And there are moments when she like kind of does like him and she finds him attractive and she's a little more into him. And
Yeah.
like they go to the movies and she's really enjoying herself. And it's like, oh, maybe they do potentially have something. And it's interesting that that like was less salient to you and maybe a little more potentially salient to me.
I was just
Just
trying to
like
be
then,
quick. So that's why I was like, because there does get to be a point where she's ultimately like, she knew she wasn't interested in him. So I was just trying to like sum it up. But you're right. I probably didn't emphasize that for some time she kind of was maybe. But it was like clear that she was, there was a few, because there was multiple times where she was like, I'm going to end it with him. And then like sees Todd and then decides not to end it with him. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I do know what
It
you
was
mean.
never
And
she was like, I want to kiss him.
but he is hot.
Yeah, I think she should be into him. except
Oh,
he's
okay.
psycho. Like,
Hot but a Psycho, like the Ava Max song.
what?
Cute, but the Ava Max has a song that's like cute but a psycho, hot but a psycho.
I don't know.
I hate it. Um, but that's not the point. Regardless, I thought that was interesting. I read the like Miller's Point lead up thing to be like pretty aggressive and abusive. Like he to
Yes.
me feels like okay,
Oh, he's fully abusive. He is abusivo.
okay.
I have it in my
Um,
notes.
the words abusivo? That's not the flex you think it is. I love to laugh. Um, I also thought the way that he used so like he used the stolen diary, Chris did, in kind of an interesting way because it was like both Enid and Todd were like, you know, I can't believe you would be saying this. Like, it's really clear that like Elizabeth doesn't like you. She doesn't want to be with you. And he was like, well, if she didn't like me, why would she tell me all of these things? And then told them very personal, private things that no one but Liz would know, and that like he just like used it in a way that I wasn't really expecting, where he used it to like shore up his capital or his like it's probably not capital. His like knowledge of her and the seriousness of their relationship in a way that I thought was cool.
Yeah, and like the reason nothing of hers gets leaked isn't because there isn't vulnerable stuff in there, but because he's not trying to be cruel to her at that point. He's not
Mhm.
using this. He didn't take it so he could leak her secrets. He took it because he figured there's something here I can use that will get me closer to her, which is alienate them.
Yeah. I don't know why, and maybe it's just that I saw a post about this beforehand. He reminds me of a guy from American Beauty who's always taking the videos of the plastic
Yes.
bags. Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, thank
Um,
God.
but we've also referenced a guy reminding us of him of us in a previous book.
Hmm.
One of the I think it was the orderly Carl who kidnaps
Oh,
Liz.
Carl's got strong bag
We
in the wind
specifically
vibes.
said he looks like that actor whose name I didn't know at the time and I still don't know. But so yeah, this guy could be like him. He's supposed to be super hot. Like they all
I know.
describe
I
they
like that part a lot.
yeah.
I was like very
And
into
it's like,
that
why
part.
isn't Olivia dating him? He works at the Oracle. Him and Olivia are friends. She loves his work. All he talks about is art and painting. That's literally
True.
all he does.
He's a big
Huh?
bag of the wind guy. I agree with you. It's true.
So
They should go for it.
I think you're gonna understand a little bit more the nature of my confusion when you see the taglines on the cover, because then combined with the plot, it really just throws one for a loop.
Okay, I'm ready to be thrown. Um, oh, I'm guessing taglines. Sorry. Is one of the taglines like the secret's out! Exclamation point.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Um, Spill Bill, like a takeoff on Kill Bill.
Again, natural selection.
Wait, what's natural selection? What is that? What do you mean by that?
It's like if people can't get that joke, they can.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I agree with that. Um, I don't
You
know. I
want a
got
clue?
nothing. Yeah, very much.
Both the front and the back make Elizabeth into like mention Elizabeth and make Elizabeth into a passive victim. And both the front and the back are questions. Like the back is almost like another front one. And
Oh,
like it's weird.
can Elizabeth survive the stealing of her diary? I'm not good at. I've lost my touch.
Do you want to do?
Yeah, but okay, yeah.
Do 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 do.
Who has stolen Elizabeth's secret diary?
Do.
I guess that does it.
Who's ruining Elizabeth's reputation?
Okay, I mean, who stole Elizabeth's secret diary? Yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm.
And yeah, that basically only happens in chapter 10 onward.
Yes.
What's the back one?
Will lies destroy Elizabeth's life? So the front is who's ruining
No.
Elizabeth's reputation, and then will lies destroy Elizabeth's life. Do you see why it's like so confusing when you look at that and
Yeah.
you're like trying to remember what this book is, and then wait till you see the cover. You'll see it. It's a wonder I was able to make it here today with how confusing this is.
Yeah, it is a wonder. And I remain in awe of it. So this is confusing because this is Elizabeth.
It's Jessica, first of all.
Is it?
Yep,
That makes no sense.
I know that. I know that, Robert. And
Like,
now
how
do
can
you
you be
have more compassion? No,
No,
now
I'm
do you have
never
more
gonna have compassion for you. I don't want to. I don't have it in my heart. I've got a lot going on right now. I cannot have compassion for every single podcast host in my life, okay? I can't. And I won't. Now, how do we know it's Jessica besides the hair, I guess?
Yeah, it's also a kind of a Jessica, a little bit more Jessica clothing, but the hair is 100% no question.
But it's Jessica reading a composition notebook that says property of Elizabeth Wakefield with a hand on her face as if to say, oh no. But that doesn't happen at any point in the text.
This makes it look like Jessica found Elizabeth's diary and is saying, "Oh my gosh, I like a secret in it." I think
Can
we're
I,
the only way we can go ahead.
I just wanna, and this is not just because I hate to be wrong. Is there a world in which this is highlighting, like the whole book is Liz appreciating Jessica and being more Jessica-like? Is there a world in which this is Liz in a little bit more of a Jessica stance and outfit and hairstyle, bemoaning her own diary woes?
I think I've said it once or more than once, and I will say it again. Sure, there are an infinite number of universes.
Okay.
It's certainly possible that there's a universe out there where there's another version of you and me.
I love
Maybe I
that.
have blonde hair.
I don't love that. Wait, are you like dyeing your hair blonde now?
I don't know, maybe I'm Robert, you're me, and we're doing the record and you say, "Here we have Jessica," and I say, "Yep, Jessica, move it along. No, no nothing to discuss." That universe exists.
Wait, Elizabeth, not Jessica.
Sure. Yeah, Elizabeth, sorry. But I don't believe that's how we're supposed to interpret this. I believe we're supposed to interpret it as this is Jess, and although it's strange because this doesn't happen, we're supposed to interpret me more a little more like metaphorically. Like, no, it's not that she's reading her diary and being like, "Oh my gosh, the secrets," but she's the one who's sort of on the tail of the stolen diary. Because like, what are they supposed to depict? Elizabeth being like looking in her book bag. And it's almost like Jessica's the one who's following up on the threat. Jessica's the one being the sleuth. Jessica's the one who like finds out that this stuff was shared about Todd and Enid and has to like is tracing it. Like Elizabeth's not on the case or whatever. So I think we're supposed to interpret it like that. I still think it's crazy. I also
Okay,
think the
thank you.
proportions are nuts. The proportion of the notebook to her shoulders. Are we looking at Scott Trost? Like, what is this?
Oh no, it's oversized. She's wearing an oversized sweater.
No, but just her whole body, her head, all of it. Look how tiny the notebook is.
Oh, I assume
That's a
you don't think
standard
that.
notebook. You
Oh,
think
we
it's a
don't know
mini
that's a
notebook?
standard notebook. I assume that Elizabeth uses a mini notebook.
Oh, you're right, because she fit it in her jacket pocket once. Her jacket pocket. Sorry, you're
Thank
absolutely
you.
right. You're right.
The only thing better than being right is being absolutely right. Wow. I'm high on this right now.
I forgot
In
how much
your
you like.
version,
Mhm.
is there something weird going on with her lips?
That's not just oh, that's not a highlight. I don't have
No,
that.
I mean,
I don't have.
you don't have
No,
that. Okay.
that's like a digital like a pixel got
Artifact.
flushed or
But it's
something.
big.
Yeah, a pixel got flushed.
I mean, that's bigger than a pixel, so I'm trying to express to you that you refuse to listen to.
Okay, I'm sorry. This isn't pixel counters. That's another podcast.
Pixel counters. Okay.
It's not the Pixel Counters podcast.
I thought there was space for all kinds of counting, but I guess we don't have time to count the pixels. Okay, never mind. Sorry, no time to count the pixels. So what do we do now?
Okay.
Count pixels, certainly.
I mean, reader of the month
Oh no.
makes the other readers makes the last few readers of the month we had be like freaking Joan Didion. Not that I like Joan Didion.
You don't like
freaking
Joan Didion?
I don't dislike
Wait.
Joan Didion. But I'm not like, oh my gosh, I love Joan Didion. Like, I don't know. Okay,
How much Joan Didion have you read? Have you just not read enough of Joan Didion? I'm sure you've read The Year
probably.
of Magical Thinking.
Yeah, I have.
Have you read the White Album?
No?
Okay, I think maybe that would change your Joan Didion tune.
Okay, that's fine. The point is this one sucks. Sorry, Alyssa. Like, it's just real bad. Um, Alyssa Thompson from Ohio. Oh, here she is, or they are.
Yeah.
I have been reading Sweet Valley High for almost 3 years. I like them
Okay.
because they have so much everything.
Oh.
Super thrillers have danger, suspense, mystery, romance, fear, bombs, escape, and more.
I love it. Wait, sorry. I know you're saying it's no Joan Didion. I think it
No,
is
it's
Joan
good.
Didion.
It is. You're
There's
right. It is
something
Joe Didion. It is Joe Didion. Joe Didion could never.
I mean, there's
Romance,
something really. Will you read that just one more time? Just the list of things?
you're right. Danger, suspense, mystery, romance, fear, bombs, escapes, and more.
I love it.
Well, there's more where that came from. Super editions
Okay.
have
Oh, please be
feelings
another
of
lift.
love, hate,
Okay.
sadness, guilt, deception, and more.
Okay.
Superstars, super editions, super thrillers, and the regular ones all
She does
make you
not say the
feel,
regular ones. She does not say the regular ones. Wow.
and the regular ones all make you feel like you are with them. I am more like Jessica than Elizabeth.
You
I get into
wish.
trouble and
Ooh.
always expect my brother to bail me out. Until third grade, I never knew or cared if boys lived. Now
Good. Keep it
they,
that way, sweetheart.
oh God, now they are one of the most important things in my life.
Oh, yeah.
Most important things in my life. It's so funny. I'm also usually outgoing. I'm like Elizabeth a little because when I grow up, I want to write books. I like,
Yeah.
in brackets, I like, in brackets, love to read. Well, you should
Wait.
have just said love. And what that's not how we use brackets. And one of my favorite kind of books to read is Sweet Valley High. Well, powerful
Wait, we're
ending.
only one of her favorite kind of books to read, and she made it in?
That's the thing. It's like it starts so weak, and then it has this like super strong middle, and then it ends so weak. All right.
Hard. You want to start with an engine that drives a boat?
Mhm.
I think just the very first sentence really hits you. What's the matter? Enid Rollins teased. You lose your other half. Now we're in, of course, the cafeteria, and Liz is searching for her then boyfriend Todd, who's not around. But in a book called The Stolen Diary, when it opens with "you lose your other half," I think you don't have to be Pardo to be like, maybe her other half is a diary. But it helps to be Pardo.
And usually they explicitly use the word other half about the other twin also.
Yeah. There's a lot of richness there. It's all diary based. I love this idea that Enid longs for Hugh, and so Liz is trying to help. And the way that she helps is we should try to imagine what Jessica would do if she were in this situation. You know, if she wanted to let a boy know that she liked him without actually coming out and saying anything. Enid goes, "You mean we have to be clever and subtle?" Liz goes, "I mean we have to be clever and sneaky." I like love this. Am I the only one?
Yeah, I guess. No, I
Well,
mean,
you don't love
yeah,
this?
I guess I'm more attuned to, or maybe bothered by I don't mean attuned in a way of I'm perceptive. I mean, I'm more focused on or like distracted or not able to enjoy it as much because like because I feel so much like Liz is just projecting her tide anxiety. Like I sort of expected that this was going to go nowhere and that like Enid would ultimately get rejected by Hugh and the lesson would be like I shouldn't push my friends to like randomly get together with their exes for no reason because I miss Todd. Um,
But no,
you know
you
what I mean?
absolutely
Because
should.
but she kept like saying to Enid like yeah, you should get back with him. You should get back with him. And it's like they broke up for a reason. I don't know. Who knows or cares what that reason was, but like there was
It was
one.
just distance, remember?
So that distance is still there. So they literally never had a conversation being like, why are we getting back together? We decided for a reason. They literally never had one talk about it. It was just, okay, well, she came to the bike shop enough times that now they're back together.
Well, yeah, and I do think it is like if distance was a big problem, they've really in this book shown that Big Mesa is not that far because they're just constantly bopping around between here and Big Mesa.
But I don't think that's sustainable.
You mean environmentally? Yeah, it is a lot of gas. I love Jess's note. I love Jess's note. I can't believe we share the same genes. What I know about boys would fill a book, but what you know wouldn't fill a postcard. Great line.
She had a lot of good lines, yeah.
Mhm.
When Liz is asking Todd about like where he was during lunch, it's they start having this, there's like some tension and it's like she's like, where were you during lunch? And he's like, oh, I was helping a friend with, or I was helping someone, he says, with math or whatever. And I do think I think she's being this way for a reason. And I do think it's not typical for her. But she's being really needy. She's making too big a deal. And again, I get that it's not about this, but like she's making too big a deal of the fact that like he wasn't there at lunch and they usually lunch together. Like if I were him, I'd be like, get me away from this. She's like, my cheese sandwich just doesn't taste the same when you're not there. Like that's annoying. Like, why are you saying this? Like, I'm allowed to. Oh gosh. Okay. You don't agree.
It's not that I don't agree. I think their breakup to me feels just like straight people. I don't know how you do it. But this idea, like, she basically is saying, like, I feel a little unappreciated. I don't know where you were, and like it was a little weird for me. And he's like, you're right. Maybe we need a little breather from each other and we should break up.
I'm so on his side though. They do need a breather because like this shit's been going on for 3 books now. This tension
Well,
between them.
then you
They
should be
still
thrilled.
haven't had a conversation about it, but like they never actually talk about whatever's going on. But like they do need a breather
Well, then you should be
because
thrilled to get
like
one.
because like he doesn't need to be at lunch with her every day. I
Maybe you're
thought
right.
it, but to I'm also holding him accountable for the things he does that
Thank
are
you.
weird. Because as soon as he said the word like I was helping someone with math, that's weird. Someone?
Who? Say your name, say your name.
Yeah. And we know Todd loves to flirt with pretty brown-haired girls.
Hmm. Anybody named Courtney? Come on in.
Yeah, they wash up on the ocean or whatever.
It's just interesting the way that this breakup go. It feels almost like I've seen a lot of stuff on Instagram or wherever where it's like the open a couple in an open relationship and like one of them really wants it and one of them is forced into it.
Oh,
This isn't really
that's
that.
sad.
Nah, cut that. That's nothing.
Well, I sort of get where you're going with it.
Yeah, I still want
Like
to
she's
crush
making it
this.
seem more mutual than it is.
Yeah, and he's making it more, they're both making it seem more mutual than it is. He's saying like, I'm sure we'd both like the option. Of course, we'll still be friends, a little more freedom. Like he's saying like, I'm sure we're in agreement about this thing that we're not in agreement about.
I almost think though that he's almost just making explicit what she is less willing to acknowledge because, for example,
Hmm.
one thing he says that is valid is, yeah, he's been flirting with this girl, and yeah, he initiated this and stuff, but she was legitimately semi-entertaining that guy Justin Silver's flirtations at the bowling league, and Todd picked up on it, and she negged Todd about it and rubbed it in how gorgeous and whatever he is. And I was kind of stunned in this book when Todd says something like, well, Justin Silver, I think you kind of enjoyed his attention and whatever. Like, I don't think it's just me maybe having these thoughts. And like, and then Liz thinks, well, damn it, now he's actually, Justin Silver's with someone else. Like, I wish I could actually. And Todd goes, like, I bet you're thinking you wish you would have taken him up on it. And she's like, I
Mm.
actually am thinking that. And that's real. That's a real feeling that she had in the previous book and has in this book, even if it's being defensive or whatever. So I'm like, I, yeah, maybe she's sadder about it or more resistant to it, but I don't think it's so one-sided.
I can hear that.
That's what you say when you don't agree, but you want to move on and don't want me to talk about it anymore.
That is definitely true, but I also think there is a point. I think you do have a point that Todd maybe, I think she may want a breather more than she even knows herself. If only she could write about it in her diary, but no, she's too busy writing in her diary about what Enid and Hugh are going through.
Yeah.
I love that the way that Jessica's kind of like reflecting on what's going on, and she said, like, just because she thought of Todd in much the same way as she thought of her father, solid, dependable, and as dull as a documentary on sea turtles. Loved it.
Are we in chapter two?
Gotta be.
I really laughed and also was like, oh God, at when Liz is telling Enid about her and Todd's break or whatever,
Mhm.
and she calls it a trial separation, which is such an adult.
Yes.
And Enid goes, of course, it's just temporary. And Liz is like, yeah, but it makes sense. Even the closest couples have to take a break from each other once in a while. Enid nodded. Oh, sure. It's like taking separate vacations. And Liz is like,
Yeah.
exactly, separate vacations. I was like, what?
What?
Like, this is so demented that these girls are sense making this like teenage thing by like the idea of separate vacations is the idea of like people who have been married for like a while to where they're like, then I'm going on a girls' trip. It's like literally what Enid's parents did before they got divorced. Like, where's Enid getting? Like, it's so crazy. And that
That
like
is really
makes sense to
funny.
Liz. It's like, why do they inhabit these roles of literally middle-aged women? Like, it's so strange.
Absolutely. I love that. There are two other lines in here that I love. They're both obviously Lila lines. They're talking about how Liz and Todd are cooling things off,
Oh,
and Lila's like, yeah, I've seen him with Peggy, blah, blah, blah. And Caroline says that Todd's helping her in the math room, helping her get ready for her algebra test. And Lila giggles the following. I'll bet she's good at division. And I was like, I suddenly was inhabiting the role of Pardo, being like, is this about cum guzzling? Like, what is the dirty? Is it like she's good at spreading her legs? Like, what's it, or is it just dividing Liz and Todd up?
that.
Oh, fine, fine.
I liked when Lila was making fun of, sorry,
Well, I'm just, is it, are you going to read the line exactly? Because the line needs to be read exactly.
go ahead.
So Lila's saying that like Liz is on her own and it'll be good for Liz to date someone else for a change if she can find someone dull enough, that is. And then I love this because Jessica stands up and goes, you don't have to worry about my sister. If she wants to start seeing other boys, all she has to do is snap her fingers. Well, she'd better snap them pretty loudly. Considering her taste in men, any boy she'd be interested in will probably be asleep. Fuck yes, Lila.
That was really funny.
She's so good.
Also, her saying, knowing Liz, she'll probably write an article about it for the paper, how to break off a relationship in a civilized manner. It made me think of conscious uncoupling.
Yes! Yes! Why are they all middle-aged women? That's such a good question. Very quickly in chapter 3, the way that they just like Todd is referred to as lean,
Yes.
and it's like, who's the one noticing his lean body? Is it Jessica? Is it Mrs. Wakefield? Question mark.
Yeah, it's so weird.
There's a
I
Best in
don't
Show reference.
I
Enid's
don't
talking
have
about Hugh. You won't wait, do you just want to say you don't want to talk about this and I won't talk? Is that what you keep just saying I don't, kind of over
No,
the
I was just
talking?
gonna tell you if you let a woman speak for once in life that I don't have any notes for chapter three, and then I was gonna let you speak all your notes.
But why would, okay, but you could hear that I was in the middle of speaking one of my notes when you started saying I don't. Yeah. Have a nut. The book makes reference to Best in Show. Enid's hugging herself. I'd forgotten how much I like his company. When we were going out, we could talk for hours about nothing and everything. One of my favorite things from Best in Show is Jennifer Coolidge when she's talking about how we could talk or not talk for hours.
Yeah, we both have so much in common. We both love soup and we love the outdoors. We love snow peas and talking and not talking. We could not talk or talk forever and still find things to not talk about.
Chapter 4?
Yeah, yeah.
You're really not trying to move along today, are you?
I like this book and I want to spend more time in this book. And so at the end of chapter 3, like Elizabeth's like, I can't take my journal everywhere. And just like, you must be crazy. I'd never do that. What happens if you lose your bag and some perfect stranger reads all about your life? Pascal's stolen diary, of course.
I would never, that would never happen. Just as like, we're talking about it, it's happening.
Yeah. And then Liz goes, I'm not going to lose it. I take care of my things. And second of all, who'd be interested in reading about me? And Jess goes, well, I wouldn't argue with you about that, but the fact of the matter, Miss Neat and Orderly, is that you have lost it. And it's like this denial of Liz. She has this like central understanding of herself as someone who doesn't lose things. And so even when she does lose something, she can't acknowledge that it's happening.
100%. It's like in book 10, when she told Danny Whitman, what the PBA girls are doing to you, like, can't be cruel because Elizabeth Wakefield is part of the PBA girls and Elizabeth Wakefield is not cruel.
One of the sites of one of our first big fights.
Yep.
And what's nice is that we can both agree that I was right.
Chapter 4, I was like, Liz goes to the movies with Jess and Sam or whoever, and then Mrs. Wakefield is like, how was it? And she's like, great. Jess and Sam's friends are really nice. I'm like, huh? Who? I guess Sam has friends from, he goes to Bridgewater or whatever, wherever he goes. But like, Jess and Sam's friends, as if they have this whole group that we've never heard of. It was just weird.
I can see that. I loved and felt so relatable with Enid writing a script for what she's gonna say for Hugh when she calls Hugh. And like practicing it for herself. It just felt very 16. And then the chapter ends with one of the best lines in all of literature.
Comes in so casually and cuts so deep.
Jessica says, that's the nice thing about fathers. They give you money and they compliment you when you look nice, but you're usually through your crisis before they even notice that you're having one. Fuck. That's the nice thing about fathers. They give you money and they compliment you when you look nice, but you're usually through your crisis before they even notice that you're having one. Wow.
And they really just slid that in. Spicy Italian dressing, by the way. I had questions about that.
Yeah.
Whatever. Chapter 5, Liz is winking at herself in the mirror, enjoying being pretty.
Why wouldn't you?
She meets Chris. He's weird.
There's a whole B plot about the Fiat breaking down over and over again. And Jess very reasonably being like, this car is old and dying and it is not safe for me to drive it. I want to get a new car. And then being like, no. And it's like, wait, what? It's presented as if Jess is being super materialistic and terrible and the parents are being super reasonable. And it's like, no, that's not what's happening. What's happening is that like the car is making all sorts of noises and is literally breaking down.
They're gaslighting her. It's crazy.
It's like nothing I've ever seen before and nothing I ever want to see again.
Enid breaks down on the way to Big Mesa and cries in front of a lady with a Dalmatian.
I know. I was like, get that Dalmatian's name. What is the name of that Dalmatian? I do love Enid's line at the end of chapter 6. Love, I'd rather be in algebra.
Was so, I don't know what it was. It was so something.
And it was everything to me.
Enid's supposed to go see Hugh, and she borrows the Fiat, so obviously it breaks down on the way there. She can't go. It's obviously before cell phone time, so she can't call him. So she basically stands him up. And then she like kind of ignores him, like she like can't face him because she's so embarrassed about it. And them two get in this thing that ends up being these sort of like I guess you could call it misunderstanding. Like basically she thinks he's gonna be annoyed at her or whatever, and then she sees him with arms around a girl, but it turns out he's not annoyed at her. He doesn't want to get back together. He was having his arms around her the way Todd was having his arms around once Patsy Webber, just consoling of sure,
If you
whatever.
believe that.
Yeah, quote unquote, of course. Enid
Pardo,
stranded
of
at a
course.
gazebo. Oh, and then he stands her up. She gets stranded at a gazebo for whatever reason. Who cares, right?
And she doesn't want to be in love. She wants to be in algebra.
Creepy stalker of Liz shows up in a chauffeur-driven Cadillac. He looks like
Pink.
a movie star. Pink.
Pink Cadillac, and he looks hot.
He's like, this is my fantasy. I've been friggin' jerking off to this idea for years. I wrote this happened to me once, having a little bit of a stalker. Not anything to where it got like actually dangerous or like actually threatening. But there was this kid in my But there was this kid in my high school who was fully obsessed with me to where like there was a few times where at night I like looked outside and he was like sitting there in his car outside my house just hanging out, and he was like always talking to people about me, and it was like really really fucking weird and like got creepy, and I like at some point told one of his friends, you have to tell him it has to stop. And
Yeah.
he was always getting his friends to like find out where I would be, and he'd show up, and he always like knew where I was and all this kind of stuff. Now that I say it, it sounds like really creepy. It was.
Yeah, it does.
It
It
was.
really sounds really, really unsafe.
So,
And
yeah.
scary. So what are we doing with that? Just crying? Which is fine, I guess.
I don't know, but once someone told me that they said to him, like, what my God, this isn't so insane. That they said to him, what time is it in class? I wasn't even there. Like, I don't think I
He
wasn't
said
even in
it's
the
Pardo
class.
time.
No, he said, like, time doesn't matter. Pardo matters. It's so crazy. Okay, let's not talk about this. Okay.
Did you like this conversation at the end with Jess and Liz about leading people on?
I just felt bad when Liz is thinking, I guess I owe him a second date. He made such a big deal out of the dance. If someone picks you up in a pink Cadillac, the least you can do is go to the movies with him. So I do think she did, to some degree, lead him on or whatever in the sense, and use him in the sense that like it was in a lot of ways like triggered by Todd and Peggy and doing it to spite him a little bit or doing it in that way. Even though there was also times where she was attracted to him. But I just felt for her that like she shouldn't have to feel like she owes him anything, or that it is leading him on necessarily to like go out with him once and then decide she doesn't like him. Like she's allowed to do that. So it was both, I thought. What do you have to say about it?
I thought it was very interesting, an interesting way to handle all of that. I also like that Jess is like, well, but if you don't like him, why lead him on? And I think like that's a really reasonable statement. And Liz goes, are you lecturing me about leading people on, you of all people? And Jessica explains very calmly, Liz, it's different when I do it. Everyone expects me to act like that. I'm a flirt, but they don't expect it from you. It's like being lied to by George Washington. And I'm like, honestly, I think she is right.
But that's not fair. Like, it's not fair to say to Liz, like, you have to always be the way you've been, and just because, like, you liked boys always seriously means that, like, now if you go on a date with a guy once, he's gonna expect that you want to be his boyfriend, because, like, so you know what I mean? Like, she should also be given the same grace as other people to be allowed to, like, go out with a guy once or twice and decide she doesn't like him.
That makes perfect sense to me. I just think it's also, she doesn't want to go on the second date, I don't think. And so it's a little weird.
I can't believe
Jess is
we're
giving her
literally
two
taking.
different ways to say no, and she won't take
We're
either.
arguing with each other now backwards of the positions we were arguing with each other 20 minutes ago.
I agree.
We just can't agree. We have a disease.
And I don't want to. Did we clock in chapter 8 that Chris has a silver hoop in his left ear? Can't remember which ear's the gay ear. Won't remember it.
she's like, all he does is paint and draw. This is where they have a good time. So that she doesn't want to go on the date, but they do, and she actually has a really good time. And then at the end of the chapter, she's like, so all you do is paint and draw? He's like, well, there is one more thing I do. I think about you. And I wrote alarm, 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 alarm.
Yeah, I do hate that. I love Lila's line at the beginning of chapter 9. You know what people are like. They love to talk because they have nothing better to do. I'm obsessed with her.
Liz and Enid are both being avoidant. Like, for example, Liz decides that she knows that she doesn't want to continue to date Chris, and she is going to break it to him at this party at Maria's. Again, it keeps going. Like, she's like, hey, I'm going to break up with him. And then, like, she's like, I want us to be alone. And he's like, so we can kiss? And she's like, no, so we can talk. But it's like drowned out by the music. And then when they get together, he starts kissing her. And she's like, well, I would have rejected this kiss, except for 2 seconds ago, I saw Todd and Peggy. So she, like, gets into the kiss. And then she tells him she doesn't want to see him anymore. And he freaks out, starts shouting and screaming and being like, you're making a fool out of me. And we say that's the old line that we referenced before of men are scared, women are going to humiliate them, and women are scared, men are going to kill them.
And then he tries to kill her. I mean, he's driving. It's unsafe. This is bad. And then he doesn't let her leave. And he's like, you're just teasing me, aren't you? And finally, she like wrenches herself free and runs away. And that is the moment when the diary does get stolen, insofar as she leaves it behind in his car. That is the end of chapter 9, the beginning of chapter 10. Wild. Pacing
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, after we've been faked out so many times.
Yeah. He gives her a white
chapter-
rose, peace
I wrote-
offering.
I wrote cycle of abuse.
Yeah, absolutely. Todd says he breaks up with Peggy.
He puts the journal back without her realizing it in her locker. And she's like, here it is.
Todd and Liz are going to get back together, but then people are spreading all sorts of rumors about Chris and Liz.
That they had a wild time at Miller's Point, etc.
Enid tries to stand up to Chris, but Chris manipulates her. Then Todd does the same thing. I like want to be in chapter 13.
Mm-hmm. Sherlock Holmes, etc. is in chapter 12, at the end of chapter 12. The line about Sherlock Holmes, should we say it? I feel like I should.
Yeah. Especially because you did such a perfect, like almost word for word at the top of the episode. So it'll be nice, like kind of bookend.
You're right. Okay. Mrs. Wakefield is asking Jess what's wrong. And she's like, I'm fine. I'm just thinking. I have sort of a problem. And Mr. Wakefield goes, what's his name? Dickhead. And she's like, this is a real problem. It's almost like a brain teaser or a mystery. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. And he goes, and Mr. Wakefield says, do you know what Sherlock Holmes always said? That once you've eliminated the impossible, whatever's left, no matter how improbable, must be the solution. And then her mom goes, and you know what Alice Wakefield always says? She who doesn't eat her salad doesn't get any double chocolate chip ice cream for dessert. I just hate how Ned is always supposed to be like the intellectual one, you know?
I hate him more than anything.
And then Jess is in bed repeating that thing.
And she figures it out. She confronts Chris, and Chris just folds like a cheap deck of cards. Or a cheap house of cards or something.
And then he like has remorse and just sympathizes with him and is like, he's not that bad. And then I don't know why they have to like make this a whole stunt. But like she gets him to confess to Todd and Enid. Liz didn't tell me that stuff. I read it in her diary that I stole. So just as this whole thing where they like get Liz to meet them somewhere and then resolve it all, and that's it. And
I
then
do
they
like, I mean,
get
I like Jess
Guidos.
through all of this. Jess is reflecting. She goes, now that the worst was over, she was feeling a little annoyed with Todd and Enid. Although she understood how hurt and betrayed they had felt, she could not help thinking that they should have known better.
Especially because this happened once, like in book 2 or something, remember?
No.
Where it was like Enid was like so mad that Liz like told someone that she had a
Oh, yeah.
about it. And it was like she didn't. Oh, I think it was the same fucking thing. Jessica read in Liz's diary about how Enid almost killed that kid. And then Jessica went to Enid and said, hey, I know you almost killed that kid or whatever, and Enid got mad at her about it. Literally. That's why Jess was able to solve this, because Chris was doing the same thing she did in that book. That's also why it stresses me out and confuses me. Okay. Guido's again with the double cheese and pepper flakes.
And pepperoni. At least they got the right order this time, thank the Lord. And then we had no lead up to this at all. Just at the very end, we get to find out that, wouldn't you know, The Young and the Beautiful, one of my favorite soaps, might be looking for twins. Will Jessica and Elizabeth become soap opera stars? Find out in Sweet Valley High number 85, Soap Star.
I hope
I
Will
hope-
Jessica and Elizabeth become soap opera stars is the tagline of the front of the book.
Probably is.
Okay.
Well, since you inverted the form, all that's left to do is say, love you.
That's right. Well, I guess love.
And of course, my personal sign off, I sign off every conversation this way. Time doesn't matter. Only Pardo matters. See, when I say it, it's almost sweet because I'm, sweet.
Love ya.
Love ya, I mean it.
Thanks for listening to Sweet Valley Hive, hosted by Robert Marks and Rebecca Pardo. For more, check out our Instagram at Sweet Valley Hive. Theme song by Yessie and artwork by Elliot Carroll.